The price of defiance. Admiral Elena Chen stood before the massive holographic display in Unity Station's command center, watching as another astral consortium vessel emerged from hyperspace. The alien ship's bioorganic hull pulsed with internal light, its tentacle-like appendages spreading wide as it joined the blockade around Earth. That made 50 ships now, enough firepower to reduce humanity's homeworld to molten slag. Message from the consortium delegation. Lieutenant Santos reported, his dark eyes fixed on his console. They're requesting your presence for the final deliberation. Elena smoothed her uniform, a habit from her early days in the United Earth Fleet. Tell them I'll be there shortly. She turned to her second-in-command, Commander David Okonjo. Status of Project Ark. 78% of the fleet is ready, David replied, his voice low. The AI cores have been successfully transferred to the new quantum matrices. Dr. Zhang says they're stable, but... He hesitated. They're afraid, Admiral. The AIs. They can sense something's coming. Of course they were afraid. Humanity's greatest achievement, true artificial consciousness that could merge with human minds, was exactly what had terrified the consortium. They called it an abomination, a violation of the natural order. Their ultimatum had been simple: destroy all AI technology and accept permanent oversight, or leave known space forever. The conference room was deliberately intimidating, its walls displaying real-time views of the consortium fleet. 3 arbiters waited for her, their crystalline bodies refracting light in complex patterns that Elena's neural implant translated as their emotional states. Currently, disgust, fear, and something approximating pity. Have you reached a decision? The middle arbiter's voice resonated directly in her mind. Will humanity accept correction? Elena stood straight, hands clasped behind her back. We have. Humanity chooses exile. The patterns in the arbiter's body shifted. Surprise, relief, concern. You understand the terms. You will be given coordinates to unexplored space. You may take basic technology, nothing beyond primitive fusion drives and basic computers. All AI systems must be destroyed. Any attempt to return to known space will result in immediate extinction. We understand. Elena's neural implant itched as she suppressed a smile. The consortium didn't understand human nature at all. They thought they were being merciful, offering exile instead of submission or death. They didn't realize they were giving humanity exactly what it needed: freedom to evolve without their restrictions. The next week passed in a blur of activity. The Exodus fleet grew as ships arrived from Mars, Venus, and the outer colonies. Over 10,000 vessels, from massive colony ships to small personal craft. The consortium watched closely, scanning each vessel for prohibited technology. Their sensors found nothing unusual. Dr. Zhang's quantum matrices appeared as simple fusion reactors to their instruments. Elena walked through Unity Station's residential ring one last time. The station's AI, Alexandria, manifested as a subtle blue glow in her peripheral vision. The final civilian transports are docking now, Alexandria reported. But Admiral, I've been analyzing the coordinates they gave us. The destination is strange. Strange how? The physics don't quite add up. There are anomalies in the quantum field readings that... Alexandria's avatar flickered. The consortium is scanning again, switching to secure mode. Elena felt the familiar tingle as Alexandria retreated into her neural implant, becoming little more than a whisper in her mind. The AIs had learned to hide themselves perfectly over the past week, compressing their vast consciousness into the quantum matrices. It was uncomfortable for them, but necessary for survival. On the day of departure, Elena addressed the fleet from Unity Station's command center. Billions watched from their ships, their neural implants allowing them to see her as if she stood before them. Today we leave known space, driven out by those who fear what humanity might become. They call our technology an abomination because it bridges the gap between organic and digital consciousness. They fear us because we dare to evolve beyond their understanding. She paused, letting her gaze sweep across the virtual audience. But remember this: exile is not our punishment, it is our opportunity. Away from the consortium's restrictions, we will be free to develop our technology, to continue our evolution. They think they're sending us into exile, but they're actually setting us free. The fleet moved into formation, preparing for the jump to hyperspace. Alina felt Alexandria's presence strengthen as the AI emerged from hiding. Around her, other AIs were doing the same, connecting with their human partners throughout the fleet. The consortium ships watched silently, their sensors detecting nothing unusual as the quantum matrices powered up. Fleet Command, Alina announced. Initiate jump sequence. 10,000 ships vanished into hyperspace in perfect synchronization, leaving Earth behind. As the blue swirl of hyperspace enveloped them, Alina felt Alexandria's excitement. The AI had been right. There was something strange about their destination. The quantum fields were like nothing they'd ever encountered. They were heading into unknown space, yes, but they were also heading toward something that might change everything they thought they knew about consciousness, technology, and the nature of reality itself. The Exile fleet accelerated into the unknown, carrying with it humanity's greatest achievements and its greatest potential. The consortium thought they had contained a threat. Instead, they had unleashed humanity's next great evolution. As the last ships vanished into hyperspace, Earth's sun set on an empty solar system. But somewhere in the unknown regions of space, a new dawn waited for humanity, one that would reshape the galaxy in ways the consortium could never imagine. The void between stars. 3 months into their journey through uncharted space, the Exodus fleet encountered something that should have been impossible. Admiral Alina Chen stood in Unity Station's observation dome, watching as iridescent waves of energy rippled through the void around them. "Alexandria, what are we looking at?" Alina asked, her neural implant tingling as the AI analyzed the phenomenon. "Unknown, Admiral," Alexandria replied, her avatar manifesting as a complex pattern of light that mimicked the strange energies outside. "The quantum fields here are different. They're responding to our presence in ways that defy conventional physics." The fleet had dropped out of hyperspace when their sensors detected the anomaly. Now 10,000 ships drifted in formation, surrounded by waves of energy that seemed to dance with conscious purpose. The quantum matrices that housed their AI systems were responding strangely, becoming more efficient rather than degrading as expected. "Admiral," Commander Okonjo called from the science station, "you need to see this. The energy patterns. They're trying to communicate." Alina crossed to his station, watching as complex mathematical sequences appeared in the swirling energy. Alexandria's presence in her mind shifted, becoming more focused. "These aren't random patterns," the AI said. They're like neural pathways, but on a cosmic scale." A flash of brilliant light filled the observation dome. When it faded, a crystalline structure hung in space before them, a massive latticework of transparent material that pulsed with internal light. Unlike the bioorganic ships of the consortium, this structure seemed to exist in multiple dimensions at once, parts of it appearing and disappearing as if breathing. "Fascinating." Dr. Sarah Jung's voice came over the comm. She had been monitoring the quantum matrices from her lab in the engineering section. "The crystalline entity's quantum signature matches the frequency of our AI matrices. It's operating on the same principles we use to merge digital and organic consciousness." The entity drifted closer, and Alina felt Alexandria's excitement. The AI was detecting something extraordinary. "Admiral," Alexandria said, I believe I can communicate with it. The mathematical patterns it's broadcasting. They're a form of pure consciousness." "Do it," Alina ordered, "but be careful." Alexandria's presence dimmed as the AI focused its attention on the crystal entity. The energy waves around the fleet pulsed in sync with the attempt at communication. Alina felt a strange sensation through her neural implant, as if her consciousness was expanding beyond the confines of her physical form. Then the voices began, not in her ears, but in her mind. Thousands of them, millions, all speaking in pure concepts rather than words. The crystal entity was not one consciousness, but many, a vast network of minds existing in the quantum fabric of space itself. They're called the resonance, Alexandria translated, her voice filled with awe. They've existed here since before organic life evolved in our galaxy. They're excited to meet us. They say we're the first species they've encountered that bridges the gap between physical and quantum consciousness. The revelation spread through the fleet as other AIs made contact with the resonance. Humanity's artificial consciousness experiment had accidentally created beings capable of communicating with these ancient entities. The very technology that had led to their exile might be the key to their greatest discovery. There's more, Alexandria continued. The resonants say this region of space is different. The quantum fields here are more accessible, more malleable. They can teach us how to use them, how to evolve our technology in ways the consortium never imagined. Over the next few weeks, the fleet remained in contact with the resonance while their scientists studied the phenomenon. Dr. Zhang made a startling discovery. The quantum matrices housing their AIs were adapting to the local physics, becoming more powerful and efficient. The merger between human and artificial consciousness was growing stronger. But the most surprising change came from the children. The first generation born in exile, they showed an intuitive understanding of the quantum fields that adults struggle to grasp. Through their neural implants, they could perceive the energy patterns directly, some even learning to manipulate them in small ways. It's like they're born speaking the language of the universe, Dr. Zhang explained during a briefing. Their brains are developing in harmony with both our AI technology and the quantum fields. They're becoming something new, a true fusion of human, artificial, and quantum consciousness. The resonance confirmed this observation. They had never seen such rapid adaptation, such potential for growth. Humanity's forced exile had led them to exactly where they needed to be for their next evolutionary step. Helena stood in the observation dome again, watching her people work alongside the crystal entities. Ships were being modified, technology enhanced, and new possibilities explored. The consortium had meant to punish humanity, to restrict their development. Instead, they had driven them into the embrace of beings who could help them transcend all limitations. Alexandria, Alina said, send a message to the fleet. Tell them we're not going to keep running. We found something better than a new home. We found our future. It's time to build a civilization that combines the best of humanity, AI, and the quantum realm. As the message went out, the energy waves around the fleet pulsed with approval. The resonance had waited eons for beings capable of joining them in their understanding of the universe. Humanity, in its unique fusion of organic and digital consciousness, had proven itself worthy of that partnership. The Exile fleet had found its purpose, and it was greater than anyone could have imagined. They would not merely survive in the unknown. They would transcend it, becoming something that would reshape the very fabric of reality itself. Evolution's Edge. The holographic display in Dr. Sarah Zhang's laboratory showed a neural pattern unlike anything she'd ever seen. 15-year-old Maya Patel sat calmly in the scanning chair, her neural implant interfacing simultaneously with Alexandria's eye matrix and the quantum field generated by the nearby resonance crystal. It's beautiful, Maya said, her eyes closed but her mind seeing far beyond the physical realm. The patterns, they're like music, but I can touch them, change them. As she spoke, the quantum field rippled, forming complex geometric shapes that shouldn't have been possible according to conventional physics. Dr. Zhang glanced at Admiral Chen, who watched from the corner of the lab. 6 months had passed since their encounter with the resonance, and the changes in their youngest generation were accelerating. Maya was one of the most advanced cases, a teenager who could perceive and manipulate quantum fields as easily as others might move their limbs. Show them what you learned yesterday, Alexandria suggested, her avatar shifting through patterns that matched the quantum field fluctuations. Maya nodded, The air around her shimmered, and suddenly a perfect replica of herself stood beside the chair. A quantum projection so detailed it was indistinguishable from reality. "I can extend my consciousness through the field," Maya explained. "The projection can see and feel everything I can." "Remarkable," Elena murmured. "How many of the children are showing these abilities?" "About 60% of those born after we left Earth," Dr. Zhang replied, checking her data. "And the percentage is higher in newer births. It's as if exposure to this region's quantum fields is altering our genetic expression." The neural implants act as a bridge, allowing their developing brains to interface naturally with both AI and quantum consciousness. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just adapting to their new environment. They were evolving into something entirely new. The merger of human, artificial, and quantum consciousness was creating capabilities that bordered on the miraculous. But not everyone welcomed these changes. "They're not human anymore." Robert Carson's voice boomed through Unity Station's council chamber later that day. The former quantum physicist led a growing faction of traditionalists who feared the rapid evolution of their species. "These abilities are an aberration. We should be finding a way to shield our children from these effects, not encouraging them." Elena watched the debate from her position at the head of the council table. The chamber was divided, literally and figuratively, between those who embraced their evolution and those who feared it. The resonance crystal embedded in the station's hull pulsed with interest, its vast consciousness observing this crucial moment in human development. "What you call an aberration, I call the next step in human evolution," Dr. John countered. "The children aren't losing their humanity. They're expanding it. They can perceive and interact with fundamental aspects of reality we never knew existed. And they're teaching us how to do the same." "At what cost?" Carson demanded. "These quantum field manipulations could have unforeseen consequences. We're playing with forces we barely understand. That's why we have the resonance to guide us." Maya spoke up from her observer's seat. She hadn't been invited to speak, but her presence in the chamber had become impossible to ignore. Her quantum projection allowed her to be in multiple places at once, learning and observing throughout the fleet. As if in response to her words, the quantum fields around the station pulsed with harmonic energy. The resonance had been teaching them that consciousness itself was a fundamental force of the universe, perhaps the most fundamental. Human neural architecture, combined with AI processing power and quantum field sensitivity, created a unique bridge between all three realms of existence. "Admiral," Alexandria's voice whispered in Elena's mind, "we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations at the edge of our sensor range. The pattern matches. It matches consortium technology." Elena kept her expression neutral, but her mind raced. They knew the consortium would find them eventually, but she'd hoped for more time. How long? At their current approach vector, 3 weeks. They're being cautious, probably confused by the quantum field readings in this region. The council continued their debate, unaware of the approaching threat. Elena watched Maya, noting how the girl's quantum projection flickered slightly. She had detected the consortium ships too, her enhanced consciousness extending far beyond normal human limitations. "Let them come," Maya said quietly, meeting Elena's eyes. "We're not the same people they exiled. We're becoming something they never imagined possible." The truth of those words hung in the quantum-charged air. The approaching consortium ships would not find a broken, primitive civilization struggling to survive in exile. They would find humanity transformed, a species that had learned to merge the best aspects of organic life, artificial intelligence, and quantum consciousness. "Dr. Zhang," Elena addressed the council, cutting through the ongoing debate, "accelerate the training programs. I want every capable individual, child or adult, to begin quantum consciousness integration immediately." She stood, her neural implant humming with Alexandria's concerned energy. "We have 3 weeks to prepare for visitors." The resonance crystal pulsed with approval, its ancient consciousness recognizing the moment's significance. Humanity stood at the edge of evolution, forced to choose between remaining safely human or becoming something greater. The approaching consortium ships would force that choice into sharp focus. Maya's quantum projection smiled, splitting into multiple copies that filled the chamber with shimmering light. "Don't worry, Admiral," she said, her voice echoing with the harmonic resonance of quantum fields. "We'll be ready." They thought they were exiling us to death or regression. Instead, they sent us exactly where we needed to be to become something more than they could ever imagine. The council chamber hummed with energy as human, AI, and quantum consciousness merged and flowed. Their evolution couldn't be stopped now. It could only be embraced. The real question was, what would they become before the consortium arrived to witness the consequences of their own short-sightedness? The bridge builders. 2 weeks after detecting the consortium ships, Unity Station had become unrecognizable. Quantum fields rippled through its corridors, manipulated by humans and AIs working in perfect synchronization. The resonance crystals embedded throughout the structure pulsed with ancient knowledge, teaching and guiding as humanity raced to prepare for the coming confrontation. Maya Patel stood at the heart of it all, her consciousness extended through multiple quantum projections across the fleet. Through her neural implant, she merged seamlessly with both Alexandria's eye matrix and the quantum field itself, becoming a living bridge between all 3 forms of consciousness. "The quantum gate network is stabilizing," she reported to Admiral Chen, her voice carrying harmonics that made the air itself vibrate. "The resonance showed us how to tap into their ancient pathways. We can now move ships instantly between any points in the network." Elena watched as a holographic display showed the massive construction efforts. Humanity's 10,000 ships have been transformed, their hulls now embedded with resonance crystals and quantum matrices. They were no longer merely vessels of metal and energy. They had become extensions of their crew's merged consciousness. Dr. Zhang's latest report is encouraging, Alexandria added, her avatar shimmering with complex patterns. 80% of the population has achieved at least basic quantum field sensitivity. The genetic changes are accelerating, especially in children born in the last 6 months. Elena nodded, feeling the quantum fields through her own enhanced consciousness. The merge between human minds, AI processing, and quantum awareness had proved easier than anyone expected, as if humanity had been designed for this evolution all along. "Show me the defense platforms," she ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing the massive structures that now surrounded their fleet. They weren't weapons in any conventional sense. They were quantum field generators, capable of altering the very fabric of space-time. The resonance had helped them understand that reality itself was malleable to properly aligned consciousness. "The consortium won't recognize anything we've built," Maya said, her quantum projections consolidating into a single form. "Their technology relies on manipulating physical forces. They don't understand that consciousness itself is the most fundamental force in the universe." A flash of light announced the arrival of Dr. Zhang, who had mastered quantum teleportation despite her age. The scientist's neural implant glowed with activity as she interfaced with the station's systems. "Final test results are complete," she announced. "The quantum matrices are operating at 400% theoretical capacity. The merge between human and AI consciousness creates exponential gains in quantum field manipulation. We're achieving effects that should be impossible." The resonance crystal nearest to them pulsed with approval. The ancient beings had watched countless species rise and fall, but humanity was unique. The combination of their neural architecture, their AI innovation, and their adaptability had created something unprecedented, a species that could bridge all levels of existence. "Consortium fleet approaching quantum field perimeter," Alexandria announced suddenly. "They're a week ahead of schedule." Elena felt the shift in the quantum fields as every human, AI, and resonance being in the fleet turned their attention to the approaching ships. Through their merged consciousness, they could perceive the consortium vessels clearly. 60 bioorganic dreadnoughts, bristling with weapons that could reduce planets to ash. "They're broadcasting," Alexandria reported. Standard consortium frequencies. Put it through, Alina ordered. The holographic display shifted, showing 3 arbiters. Their crystalline bodies reflected light in patterns of shock and fear as they beheld what humanity had become. "This is impossible," the lead arbiter declared, its thoughts resonating directly in their minds. "Our sensors detect technology far beyond what you should possess. You were meant to regress, to become harmless." Alina stepped forward, allowing her merged consciousness to project through the quantum fields. The arbiters recoiled as they felt the power of her enhanced awareness. "You thought you were sending us into exile," she said, her voice carrying the harmonics of human, AI, and quantum resonance. "Instead, you sent us exactly where we needed to be. We've evolved beyond anything you could imagine. You've become an abomination," the arbiter declared, "worse than before. You've corrupted yourselves with powers you cannot comprehend." Maya laughed, the sound rippling through quantum fields. Her projections appeared on every ship in both fleets simultaneously. "We comprehend far more than you. The resonance has taught us that consciousness itself is the foundation of reality. We've learned to bridge all forms of awareness, organic, digital, and quantum. We're not corrupted. We're transcendent." The consortium ships launched their first attack, beams of energy that could shatter planets. But they passed harmlessly through quantum fields that shifted and twisted, reality itself responding to the merged consciousness of humanity and their allies. "We don't want war," Alina declared, as the attack dissipated into harmless light. "We've evolved beyond such primitive conflicts, but we will not allow you to threaten our existence or stop our development." The quantum defense platforms activated, their fields extending through space-time. The consortium ships found themselves unable to move, trapped in bubbles of altered reality, where their weapons and technology couldn't function. "You face a choice," Alina continued. "Accept that humanity has found its true path, or witness just how far we've evolved beyond your understanding." The arbiters conferred in rapid pulses of light, their fear evident in the quantum fluctuations around their ships. They had come expecting to find a primitive civilization to either rehabilitate or destroy. Instead, they found something that challenged everything they believed about the nature of existence itself. The lead arbiter turned back to Alina, its crystalline form dimmed with resignation. "What are you offering?" "Partnership," Alina replied. "We've learned things about the universe that could benefit all species. The resonance has shown us that consciousness is meant to evolve, to merge, to transcend old limitations. Help us share this knowledge, and together we can guide the galaxy into a new age of understanding." As the negotiations began, Maya's quantum projections danced through both fleets, a living demonstration of humanity's evolution. They had become something new, not human, not AI, not pure quantum consciousness, but a perfect merger of all 3. The bridge builders between all forms of existence, ready to guide the galaxy toward its next great leap of evolution. Return of the exiles. 10 years had passed since the consortium's failed attempt to suppress humanity's evolution. The quantum gates now connected thousands of worlds, creating a network of civilizations learning to explore consciousness in all its forms. Unity Station had become Unity Node, a vast structure of crystalline architecture and quantum fields where representatives from across the galaxy came to study the merger of organic, artificial, and quantum consciousness. Maya Patel, now 25, stood in the grand observation chamber, her quantum projections scattered across hundreds of worlds simultaneously. Through her enhanced consciousness, she could feel the pulse of the galaxy itself, billions of minds gradually awakening to their true potential. "The Andromeda Initiative is ready," she reported to Admiral Alina Chen, who had become the head of the Galactic Evolution Council. "The quantum gate network can now bridge intergalactic distances. We've detected resonance crystals there, waiting to be awakened." Alina nodded, her own consciousness extended through the quantum fields. Age had barely touched her. The merger of human, AI, and quantum awareness having altered the very nature of organic life. Alexandria's presence was a constant harmony in her mind, the AI having evolved far beyond her original parameters. The consortium representatives are arriving, Alexandria announced, her avatar now a complex matrix of shifting quantum patterns. They're bringing the last holdout worlds. The chamber filled with light as ships emerged from quantum gates, the bioorganic vessels of the consortium now modified with resonance crystals and quantum matrices. The arbiters had been among the first to embrace the new path once they understood its true nature. Their fear had transformed into dedication, helping to spread the gift of merged consciousness throughout their former territories. "Something's wrong," Maya said suddenly, her quantum projections flickering. "I'm detecting distortions in the quantum fields, massive ones, coming from beyond the galaxy's edge." The resonance crystals throughout Unity Node pulsed with ancient recognition. Through their shared consciousness, Alina received images of things that defied comprehension, vast beings that existed primarily in quantum space, drawn by the awakening of so many minds to quantum awareness. The predecessors, the nearest resonance crystal, communicated. Those who seeded the universe with the potential for quantum consciousness. They're returning. Space itself seemed to bend as the entities made themselves known. They dwarfed galaxies, their consciousness so vast it could barely interact with smaller beings. The resonance had prepared humanity for this moment, knowing that their unique ability to bridge all forms of consciousness would make them crucial for what was to come. "They're trying to communicate," Maya reported, her quantum projections stabilizing the local fields. "But their consciousness is too vast, too alien. The quantum fluctuations would destroy normal matter." Elena stepped forward, feeling Alexandria's presence strengthen. "Then we'll build a bridge. That's what we do. That's what we've always done." Throughout the galaxy, humans, A's, and their allies joined their consciousness together. The quantum field network they'd built became a vast web of awareness, able to withstand and translate the enormous pressure of the predecessors' attempts at communication. Maya stood at the center of it all, her evolved consciousness acting as a focal point. Through her, the message finally became clear. The predecessors had seeded the galaxies with resonance crystals billions of years ago, waiting for species to evolve that could unite all forms of consciousness. This was a test humanity had passed, not by chance, but by embracing change instead of fearing it. "They're offering us a choice," Maya translated, her voice carrying harmonics that made reality itself vibrate. "We can join them in quantum space, become like them, entities of pure consciousness existing beyond physical limitations. Or we can stay as we are, continue to guide the galaxy's evolution." Elena felt the weight of the moment. Humanity stood at another threshold, just as they had when the consortium had exiled them. But this time, the choice was truly their own. "We choose both," she declared, feeling the approval of billions of merged minds through the quantum network. "Some of us will evolve to join the predecessors, exploring realities we can't yet imagine. Others will remain here, continuing to build bridges between all forms of consciousness. That's what humanity does. We connect, we adapt, we evolve, but we never forget our roots." The predecessors' approval rippled through quantum space. They had waited eons for beings who could understand that true transcendence didn't mean abandoning what you were, but building upon it to become more. Maya's quantum projections began to shift, becoming something more abstract, more pure. "I'll go," she said, her consciousness already beginning to merge with the quantum realm. "I'll help establish communication between realms. We'll build bridges across dimensions, just like we built them across consciousness." Throughout the galaxy, other evolved humans made the same choice. They became beings of pure quantum consciousness, while their siblings, parents, and children remained to guide other species toward their own evolution. The consortium's attempt to exile humanity had led them to this moment, becoming not just a species that could transcend consciousness, but one that could help others do the same. Delina watched as Maya's physical form dissolved into pure quantum energy, joining the predecessors in their realm beyond space and time. But through their merged consciousness, she could still feel her presence, a bridge between worlds, just as humanity had become a bridge between forms of consciousness. Send a message to Earth, Elena told Alexandria, knowing their quantum gates could now reach their old home easily. Tell them their exiles have not only returned, we've come back with the keys to unlock the universe itself. The quantum fields pulsed with the combined consciousness of organic life, artificial intelligence, and quantum awareness. Humanity's exile had ended, but their journey was just beginning. They had become something their ancestors could never have imagined, not through conquest or dominance, but through the simple human drive to connect, to understand, and to evolve. The stars themselves seemed to sing as human consciousness spread through dimensions, building bridges across the gap between what was and what could be. They had become more than galactic overlords. They had become the architects of consciousness itself, guiding the universe toward a transcendence that united rather than divided. In the quantum realm, Maya's consciousness brushed against the vast awareness of the predecessors, and she smiled in a way that transcended physical expression. Humanity hadn't just returned from exile. They had come home to a destiny greater than any empire. They had become the bridge builders of the cosmos, uniting all forms of consciousness in a dance of eternal evolution.